Hey there, welcome back to the channel, a channel where improvement businesses, contractors, and tradies grow their business while reducing headaches and find that elusive work-life balance. If you're tired of struggling to land new clients or you feel like your marketing isn't working, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to be diving into the top 5 mistakes contractors make and essentially how to fix them. And you can trust me, these mistakes are more common than you think. But the good news is they're easy to fix once you know how. So let's jump in. Mistake number 1 is wasting money on ineffective ads. Now, I get it. You're too busy to actually go in there and learn them yourself. And you have these marketing providers that are promising the world. And it is very tempting. But in the end of the day, it just falls short. But see, the problem is without the right strategy, your ad spend is just essentially you throwing money against the wall. Now, here is how you fix it. First of all, we need to focus on the platforms where your clients actually are. For most contractors, this is going to be Facebook, it's going to be Google, or even local directories like Yelp, Angie's, Home Advisor. Some of these can be really effective. However, when you're actually paying for these services, usually they're giving your leads that they're giving you, they're giving it to 10 other people. So by the time you actually get in contact with them, you're reaching out to a person that has spoke to 10 other people and they just get pissed off. So these are not ideal. In an ideal world, you create your own marketing on some of the platforms I mentioned before. So if you are looking for a higher quality lead, generally speaking, Google is going to be the way for that. The reason being is people that are searching in Google, they're usually problem aware. And what that means is when they are in need for a window and door company or landscaper, they'll generally type it in. Now, depending on the actual search term that you use, you can determine that level of interest. So say, for instance, I'm here in Christchurch at the moment and I'm looking for a landscaper and I say landscaper Christchurch. That transaction intent is quite high because I said my search term. And then I also set the location, which is very, very good. This is what we call inbound leads. So they're going to be coming to you. So they're already problem aware. They already have the need, the desire. You're just filling that demand. Now, when it comes to Facebook, it's a different ball game. It's what we call outbound market. So you got to go out there and you got to create the desire. Now, obviously, this is a little harder because you have to create or spark the idea. And sometimes you can get lucky with timing. However, mass market generally are in that area where they're not actually looking. So this is why you have to be really strategic and you have to create specific offers that create scarcity, urgency, create a reason for them to take action right now. Because there's no action to take right now, they will generally just say, oh, if I see it again, I might interact with it. Tomorrow never comes. So essentially, Facebook can be good because you have mass market. It's very scalable depending on the geographic location that you can actually target. But it is fantastic once you get it locked down. Now, what I would suggest though is don't put all your eggs in one basket. I would test small, get proof of concept. Once you know your numbers, meaning once you know your cost per click, once you know your cost per lead, and then your cost per acquisition. So let's say, for instance, your cost per lead is $1, and every 5 clicks you get a lead. So that means your cost per lead is $5. And let's say every 5 leads that come through becomes a sale, your cost per acquisition or cost per sale is $25. Now, when you know those holy trinity numbers, it's a matter of just dialing up, like increasing the ad spend, and dialing it down when you get too busy. So you really have to know your numbers. You know, what's measured can be improved. And this is absolutely vital. So understand you have to test first, get proof of concept, and then scale up. Number 2 is not having a clear target audience. If you market to everybody, you market to no one. Too many contractors run generic campaigns that don't directly speak to their ideal clients. So how do you fix it? Firstly, you need to identify your perfect customers. You need to really get into the shoes of your ideal customers. You do this by actually giving them a name. You go through their demographic nature. What's their age? Are they a homeowner? Are they a young couple? Have they got a young family? You speak through their actual demographic. side of things, and then you go into the psychographic. Psychographic is like, what do they value? What do they believe in? You want to get to a point where it's almost like they are reading a page from their own diary. And why is this important? If you want to sell your services, you have to connect with them emotionally. People buy through emotion. So if you understand exactly what they're going through, it's very easy for them to resonate with your message. You understand their pain points. If you understand their pain points, you can address those pain points, agitate those pain points, bring those pain points to the surface. Because what happens is people run away from pain and they run towards pleasure. So you address those pain points, bring them to the surface, then you position yourself as the solution. So you really need to understand what is on their mind, what keeps them up at night, what annoys them on a day-to-day basis. You want to be able to kick that bruised knee, and that's what's going to motivate people to take action. If there's no need, or they don't feel like there's a need to go from point A to point B, then they won't purchase anything. So you got to create that separation, and you do that by understanding what they're going through. So are they a homeowner? Is it important for them to have safety in their home? Do they have young kids? By understanding who your demographic is, everything else downstream becomes a lot easier. So you can go ahead and create a customer persona. I might actually link one below this video. And essentially it's a worksheet. It's an exercise, and you get an understanding who your target market is. Even if you go to ChatGPT, just do a bit of a word dump. This is kind of who we are. This is what we want to sell. So the point number 2 is the way in which you speak. So your tonality or your brand character, your brand identity. You want to resonate with your ideal target market. So we understand who they are. Now we need to understand how we connect them. So the second part of it is to understand how we talk to them. So if you're specifically targeting homeowners, maybe they have young families, you may need to meet them at their level and instill, the safety aspect of it. You use healthy materials. For instance, if you're targeting business owners, emphasize professionalism, maybe emphasize efficiency. You want to think like a tradesperson, but speak in the words of the people. So speak using language and terminology that will be understandable to them. This is important. Otherwise, you will create friction. Your message won't resonate. Okay, so now you've got your customer persona. You understand how to speak to that person. We've talked about the customer persona. We talked about how we speak to that customer persona. Next one we're going to go over is how to connect with them. When you're dealing with Facebook and Google and YouTube, you can create custom audience. And this is really, really powerful because you can let these algorithms go and find your ideal client based on previous data that you have. So what does that mean? If you've got an email list of people that have signed up for your newsletter or past customers, you can upload that list to Facebook and tell Facebook, use this 200 email list that I have. I want you to go out there and find another 10,000 people that fit this demographic. And Facebook and Google and all these guys have more data than you would like. No, honestly, they have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 touch points, data points on each individual. So don't be scared. They are invading your privacy for sure, but it's more for commercial purposes. But it gives us the opportunity to leverage this powerful aspect of Google, Facebook, or any platform. So go ahead and create custom audiences, and they'll be able to help you target the right people once you know who they are. Mistake number 3 is ignoring online reviews. Did you know that 98% of consumers read online reviews before making any purchasing decision? For contractors, reviews are gold. Here's how we can help. First thing you need to do is make sure you're asking everyone for reviews. Now, if someone is not having a great experience and you knew that, do not reach out to them. What you can do first and foremost is ask them, how did we do it? Or were you happy with our service? Or is there anything else you need help with? Once they give you that signal, then if it's positive, you follow up with a request for a review. If it's not, then you try to mitigate or amend whatever kind of concern that they had. What I like to do is send them out an email. If it responds positively, we send a follow-up email. And we send a message like this. Hey, Samantha, thank you so much for trusting us with your business. We really enjoyed your project. Would I be able to ask you a small favor. Would you be so kind to leave us a review? Where, as a small business, reviews mean the world to us, and I wouldn't expect you to write too much. One line sentence would be amazing. And if you create less friction, meaning you're only asking for one line, so you're not asking them to write a Bible passage, you're giving them a direct link where they can go and actually read that review. And then if you want to really turbocharge it, you can give them an incentive. You say, hey, just as a token of appreciation for leaving the review, we'd be happy to send you over a $10 gift card for Starbucks. I've seen clients offer $2 deduction on their meal if they leave reviews, and they'll have a QR code on the actual table, and that works really well. So definitely go out there and proactively ask. And the thing is, you've probably seen it before. You look for a service, you do a quick Google, and the top 3 show up. And there's someone with 100 reviews, there's someone with 2 reviews, and there's someone with 50 reviews. That's maybe under a 4-star. Who are you going to choose? People are looking for reasons to bow out or not go ahead with a certain service, and reviews is a very good indication as to whether it's a good idea or not, whether they should trust their business or not. Next thing I want you to do is ensure you are replying to every single review, the good, the bad, the ugly. If someone leaves you a good review, you should acknowledge it. What's acknowledged is repeated, but just go out and say, hey, thank you so much. We really enjoyed working with you. This is a chance for you to show your character and your appreciation. You do not want to leave them on red when they've done you a favor. Because sometimes people can come back and they can change the review and remove it. So just because you get it, it doesn't mean that you're locked in. And then that goes for the negative reviews. And look, everybody's going to get negative reviews. Even if you are the best provider in the world, you always get some disgruntled person. You can't keep everyone happy. However, when that time happens, you need to acknowledge it. We use the AET model. So acknowledge, explain, and thank. That's the way it shows other people these things happen. You give an explanation. Sometimes there's 2 sides to every story. Some people would prefer a company that actually has 1 or 2 bad reviews because it looks a little bit more legit than someone who just has this flawless record. Because we are human in the end of the day, and people make mistakes. So the next suggestion would be to automate it. So there's loads of tools out there. Podium, Nice Job. We use Alum, which is our CRM. It just means that it takes away the manual action that's needed. So once a job is completed and the final invoice is paid, whatever the trigger is, or you can just go in there and manually just click send, and it will trigger an automation that will send about a text message, an email, or just one or the other. This will make it a lot easier. It will create a SOP or a standardized process within your company, and you will make sure you actually go ahead and do it. Mistake number 4 is lack of follow-up. There's a reason people say the fortune is in the follow-up, and it is so true. Generally speaking, you need about 5 to 12 touch points before someone feels comfortable about using your services. There's actually stats out there that 80% of sales require at least 5 follow-ups, yet most contractors stop after the first 2. If you're not following up, you're literally leaving money on the table. So how can you fix this? First and foremost, you can use a CRM like Jobber, House Call Pro, HubSpot, or our one that we spent 12 months building, alum.co, which essentially takes all the hard work and the guessing games out of it. You can literally set up rules and conditions that if someone doesn't reply, you either get an internal notification or a little nudge saying, hey, this person hasn't responded, please chase them up. Or you can set up conditions that they will follow up directly. Say, for instance, you send out a quote, you can have a condition. If someone doesn't click or open or reply, you can chase them up 5 days later and just say, hey, just bumping this up to your top of your inbox just in case you forgot about it. Or have you got any updates on the quote I sent over? Is there any other questions? Or do you have time later on to give you a call and just go over the quote? So having a CRM will give you clarity. It will give you a bird's eye view of where everybody is in the pipeline and who's not actually being chased up. Otherwise, you just have a leaky system that people drop through. You should have a mantra in your business of no lead left behind. And this is done through effective follow-up. Another tip is to ensure that you call people. Generally speaking, people are lazy. They have a million different things. And if they're not responding, that doesn't mean that they're not interested. It just means that their life has got in the way. They could be getting ready for vacation. They could have kids. They could have baby mama drama. God knows what is going on. So sometimes it's just easier to pick up the phone and see where they're at. And the worst thing they can say is, look, we're not interested. And at least you can put that to bed and you can move on, you can focus your attention. But you should always chase people up. Until they say, look, we're not interested, the game is still on. Timing is everything, and you want to be persistent. Mistake number 5 is relying solely on word. Word of mouth is fantastic, but it's not a growth strategy. It's unpredictable and limits your reach. It should be supplementary to another marketing channel that you can have consistency, predictability, and scalability. If you've got those, then you will naturally get word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is a good indication that you're doing something right if someone else is going to vouch for you. However, it cannot be your main focus. And I see this so much with contractors. So first thing you need to do is build a website. It doesn't have to be flash. You can have a one-page landing page, but you need to have a online representation of you, the business owner. So people will go there and they can find out who you are, what you offer, and whether it makes sense for them to reach out to you. So do not neglect a website. It's very, very important. Next thing you can do is you can find out what paid strategies are out there. The reason I suggest paid strategies is because if you're doing paid strategies, it doesn't take that long to do. If you're doing SEO or content strategy, it offers longevity. However, you have to sow the seeds. You've got to water the seeds, and then you harvest 6 months down the line. Whereas if you're doing Google ads or Facebook ads, you can set up a Facebook ad and you can be generating leads and sales within that week. It's very, very effective. So that's what I'd focus on. What I would also recommend is don't dissipate all your energy in too many different fields. I would focus on one, generally speaking, where your target market are, and then go a mile deep. And then once that's done, you can move on to the next stage. What you can do is create a social media profile. You don't have to produce beautiful content. Don't worry about that at the start. Hell, this video is not going to be the most polished, but I'm only starting out, and over time I will improve. But it's better to do something than not to do something. So document, take before and afters. If you can get a review or a couple of words from a client on the job site, do that. They're easy wins and easy to just post some content on social media. The other side of things is Google My Business. Very easy to set up and doesn't require massive effort to actually rank. Once you've got traction, then you can go and diversify. At this stage, you might have some customer lists. So what you can do is create a email marketing campaign. Maybe you can do a test SMS campaign every now and again. But again, do not overindulge in this, especially when it comes to text. When you send a text, people get that text message. There's no filter system like you have on email. So use that sparingly. You obviously do your email, then you can do maybe some Facebook ads, you have next door ads, you could do some local directory ads. But that is once you've got a baseline. All right, there you have it. They are the top 5 mistakes contractors make and how you can fix/adjust them. If you found this helpful, can you do me a favor? Subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. Let me know what mistakes you are fixing, or if there's another one that you think is way more prevalent in your industry. I'd love to hear what you have to say and comment back. Remember, running a business doesn't have to be a constant grind. With the right strategies in place, you can grow your revenue, reduce stress, enjoy life work. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.